Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Got a question here asked by my good friend Fraser Kane from Universe Today. Are you proactive socially or just reactive? And he notes, with the tidal wave of social requests that you must be getting, is your day completely filled by just responding to social connections, especially with your increased involvement with Empire Avenue? Do you make time to connect outside your network, or are you overwhelmed by all the inbound stuff? If you had more hours in the day to invest in growing, how would you spend them? It's a good question. By the way, he asked me through email, chris@perillo.com. Anybody can drop me a line, whether I really know you or not. It's a good question. And I'm in an interesting position in the sense that I have been producing a lot of stuff online. Content, attention, awareness, brand, whatever you want to say that I've been doing for the past 15 years of my life. So a lot of people know of me, and sometimes they will seek me out. That's how I get a lot of new business contracts, the clients that we end up doing consulting for and various projects with. So I have to, in many ways, be more reactive than proactive. Sometimes I'm a bit more proactive, and I tend to be a bit more proactive outside of my own industry. Specifically, as Fraser kind of alluded to, although he said, do you make time to connect outside of your network? And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Empire Avenue, is it's giving me a chance to connect with people who either have never seen any of the videos I've done on YouTube, had no idea I hosted a television show or radio show, had a blog, did all these things going all the way back. Connecting with them is great because I find what they do, and they may be the Chris Perillo of their industry, and meeting them can be helpful. It expands my own network. So you have to be more proactive socially when you aren't generating a lot of attention for yourself, when you're not creating a lot of unique content, when you're not putting your own persona out there, your own brand, because there's a lot that's happening these days. You have to be more proactive rather than reactive. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, I have to be more reactive. There was a comment actually on Twitter the other day, and I don't mean to bring it up again, but it's true. One of the shareholders on Empire Avenue, one of my shareholders of the, I think at that point 5,000, said that he sold all my shares because I wasn't participating. And I'm like, dude, I got to keep up with 5,000 shareholders alone, not to mention the 200,000 YouTube followers, not to mention the 100,000 Twitter followers, not to mention there's a lot of people I got to pay attention to. I can't pay attention to everybody. I have to be more reactive in some cases. And I do my best to be, proactive when there's something that generally interests me, or when I want to connect with someone who, I have a great deal of respect for their opinions, or think that what they're doing is absolutely, astounding, and I want to share, what they're doing with everybody else. If I had more time in the day to invest, I would absolutely spend more time seeking out people who had no idea who I was. Because honestly, there are more people in this world who don't know who you are than who do. And I'm in that category, and I think a lot of us are in this category. There are rare exceptions, obviously, like Bill Gates or a Steve Jobs, or you name any one of the huge industry moguls, whether it's technology or government or beyond. If you have some amount of notoriety within your own community, it might be time to stretch your reach a bit beyond what you're comfortable with. Even if it has nothing to do with your interest level or I should say interest points, the things that your hobbies, your I'm like at a lot. Hang on, let me try this. You learn more from people who have no idea about you because they don't judge you. They have no preconceived notions. And so they can give you a fresh perspective. They're not looking at you as though you can give them something. They're looking at you because they just think you're another human being. And honestly, that's the best way to interact with everybody. Just treating them like another human being, because that's exactly who they are. But I've always learned more, gained so much perspective by interacting with people who have nothing to do with technology. Their perspective on technology or beyond or even issues that are related to technology, but not technology related. I gain much more perspective by talking to those folks than I ever do from talking to people who are in the industry. I'll make this analogy. If you ever watch the TV show House, one of my favorite shows, I've certainly missed a few episodes, but inevitably, House, this lead doctor, fixes problems. He's a diagnostician, and he comes to this epiphany for whatever the problem at hand is. He comes to an epiphany with a completely unrelated issue. So he's having this conversation with someone else. That someone else says something. He says something, and then bam! Suddenly, wait a minute. That could likely apply to this problem over here, and you gain that perspective, of your own knowledge. You're just tapping into your knowledge in a different capacity. You gain more insight into your own motivations and your own self and your own passions and interests when you interact with people who are not like you, which is kind of the antithesis of what you would think. Well, why would I want to hang out with people who are like me? Let me try it. Hang out with people like me. Why would I not want to do that? Sorry, hang on. Let me try it again. Why would I not want to hang out with people like me? That worked. You can edit that out if you want. Just skip over that part. Because they're just like you. You don't want to know people just like you. You want to know people who aren't like you. And this is what kills me about racism and people who are prejudiced against people who are not like them. I'm like, those are the people you need to know because they're not like you. They can give you deeper understanding of your own life. What was that? I don't even know what that. It was the wine talking, obviously. Hang on, I got a tweet. Give me a second. Here's an idea for a drinking game. Every time Chris Pirillo says, "Oh, hang on, I gotta read it." This is from Kevin. Kevin, what did you? He's watching it. Just give me a second, guys. Hey, I gotta interact with my community here. I'm being proactive. Actually, no, I'm being reactive again. Tzilb. Is that how you say it? Kevin Connolly, TSILB. Here's an idea for a drinking game. Every time at Chris Pirillo says antithesis, you have to drink. Oh. Chug! Chug. Well, not to be the antithesis of this antithesis, but I think the antithesis of the antithesis is certainly to antithesis and potentially antithesis the antithesis. Now, if you antithesis the antithesis, then your antithesis is more than likely going to be the antithesis of your antithesis. I think it was a bit more than a double negative. My email address is chris@pirillo.com. I will likely react in a somewhat positive fashion. You could drop me a line on Twitter at Chris Pirillo if you include in the tweet. It may pop up on my iPhone. Lockergnome.net. You can leave the question in a YouTube comment thread, of course. Post it anywhere. Facebook.com/Chris Pirillo, and the questions that are normally posted there from Lockergnome.net. You can join us in the chat room, part of the live video feed. It goes out over the web. That's kind of a sub part of my blog at chris.pirillo.com, but it's actually a subdomain that redirects to a subdirectory, which is almost the antithesis of a subdomain. Because, see, a subdomain is the antithesis. Well, it's not really an antithesis so much as it would just be the opposite. There's a subdomain and a subdirectory, right? So it's chris.pirillo.com/live, and that's a redirect from when you go to live.pirillo.com. It redirects. So it's not really the antithesis. Is that the antithesis? I'm not sure if it's the antithesis. I don't know. I think you should drink every time someone uses the word antithesis in the YouTube comment thread for this particular video. There's going to be a lot of interesting comments. Anyway, you're welcome to join us, and until next time, we'll see you later.